It's that time of year again.
Winter is coming.
Okay, it's happening. What's the procedure? Stay calm.
We all know the one cold day that you get in September, silly season well and truly begins. The phone flies off the hook, you got jobs coming in left, right and centre. Before you know it, you're overwhelmed, you don't know what to do. So in this episode, I thought we'd talk about preparing yourself for the winter and silly season. A couple of things you can do to help you prepare, help you manage your time, and hopefully survive it. So let's get into it. Now, if you've never heard the term silly season before, it's basically what us gas engineers call the busy period in the winter. We just had months of nice weather, then all of a sudden, normally middle of September, you get that one cold day, and what happens? Everybody puts their heating back on, and because it hasn't been run for a while or they didn't book the service, the boilers break down, and everybody seems to phone you at the same time to get stuff done. And it isn't just breakdowns you get. People's minds switch towards the winter months and thinking, you know what, let's get them radiators upgraded, or could be time for a new boiler, or let's get that boiler service before it gets really cold. And all of a sudden you've got jobs coming in left, right, centre. You can't get back to everybody. The phone's going off the hook. You're working early morning till late night. Very quickly you become overwhelmed and just feel the burnout already creeping up on you. So let's talk about some things you can do to help manage your time and hopefully survive silly season. So first thing I want to talk about is your prices. When was the last time you checked you was charging enough? Now, I have done a separate video on how to work out your prices. That's a separate video. We're not going to go into that. But if you haven't put your price up in a couple of years, guess what? You've been taking a pay cut. Inflation happens year on year. Now, there's a few things that can impact that. You've got your insurances. When's the last time your insurance broker ever wrote to you and said, you know what, we're going to put your insurance down? Don't happen like that. Fuel goes up. The more fuel you use, fuel goes up. That can happen. Just a general pay rise. You should be getting a pay rise every year. Now, for us, as minimum charge, we haven't put that up this year. We only put it up last year by £5. Now, that does seem a lot, but inflation was what, 3 or 4%. On our minimum charge, £5 worked out a lot more than that. So we're not going to bother putting it up by £2-3 this year. It's just going to stay where it is, then maybe next year we'll put it up by another £5 and it should balance itself out. But our day rate, we have put that up. We have realised our day rate is slightly below what we need. That has had to go up. Now, if you am going to put your price up, there's no better time to do it than when you're really busy, because you've got the influx of work to compensate for any customers that decide they don't want to go with you because you're too expensive. Now, what I found was your regular customers, they're not going to blink to a price rise. They're really not. And so I'll put mine up £5 one year. The next year, inflation was that bad, I'll put it up by another £5. And I didn't lose any customers, to be honest with you. I didn't feel like I did anyway. Work certainly didn't dry up. So I'd recommend, first thing you want to do, check out your prices. As I said, best time you can put them up is just for the winter before you get busy. Now, next thing we're going to talk about is your time. This is the thing that's going to help you survive, is how you manage your time. Now, the first thing I try and do at the start of silly season is book the dates out that I want to spend with the family. Now, I've got a young family, they have half term and they have obviously Christmas. So I want to spend as much time as I need to with them. So Christmas, that's always 2 weeks off. That's the first thing that goes in the diary. And I'll have a few days off over half term so I can spend it with the family. A couple of things in there as well. My son's birthday, I'll book that off straight away in the diary. It just gets blanked out. There's no way then I'm accidentally booking working. Because you know it's like, it's busy, you flick your free kind of, that'll do, that date will do. Next thing you know, you think, oh, I needed that day off. So just go through your diary and the dates that you need off, blank them out. So you know then you're definitely going to have them off. Now, how am you going to manage your diary? Am you going to go for a full book or are you going to go for a half book? What I mean by this is, a full book, as work comes in, you will just book it in. Done. As soon as it's booked, you do not book anybody else in. You can book weeks in advance. Now, some people like to run the business like that. They know then they've got weeks and weeks of work. They haven't got to worry about it. They've got a full book. They're getting paid. Job's done. Calls come in. They can't get to them. They just bat them away and it's done. Now, if you run a reactive business, you might want to think about doing this half book. Technically, it's not a half book. What I normally do is, if I've got 5 days of the week, I'm just going to list them on here. It'll make sense in a minute. So I've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Them are the days I normally work. If I look at 1 week, I might book Monday full day, Tuesday full day, Thursday full day, Friday full day. And I've left Wednesday free. That's because if anyone rings Saturday, Sunday, Monday or Tuesday with an emergency, like a leaking boiler or anything like that, they can go into Wednesday then. I've got space to work that reactive work. Now that's important if you've got regular customers that you don't want to let down, but also for potential for bigger jobs. Now if someone phones you up on the Monday with a broken boiler and you say you can get there on the Wednesday, potentially you could fix it, but worst case scenario, if it's a big repair, a big outlay, the customer might say to you, you know what, it's time, let's get this boiler replaced. So then you've won a boiler. If you're working on a full book though, you've got nowhere to put that boiler. So you got to look at your week after. Now, you don't have to do the same day, you don't have to do the Wednesday. You can juggle the days there, what work for you. So I'll say this week then, we've got the Tuesday free. We didn't book nothing in the Tuesday. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is gone. But we've got that Tuesday free. That person on the Wednesday, you can say, yes, I can fit you a new boiler. I can do that on the Tuesday for you. Now, customer might think that's a little bit long, but you've done a turnaround there. 5 days, 6 days. Some customers will accept that. But with the work coming in, that's the easiest way I've found if you want to juggle reactive work with booking work in as well. Now, you could go really risky here. Instead of doing, let's just say we've got that scenario again, right? Where we've gone out to the person on the Wednesday, they want a new boiler, right? You got the Wednesday free, but you also kept the Tuesday free, just in case. Now, you can fit the boiler on the Tuesday, them are booked up, and you've still got your Wednesday. For the work to come in, if you get reactive work coming over the weekend again, they all go into Wednesday. It's a risky tactic, because if you don't get the work coming, guess what? You've just left a day that you ain't getting paid. However, normally when it's cold, it's really busy. It's not very often, if you leave a day like that you do absolutely nothing. Trust me. Work comes in from somewhere, or you have something to catch up on, like your paperwork, quotes, stuff like that. So yes, it can be risky doing your diary like that, but like I said, the potential for bigger jobs and helping out reactive customers is there. So that's 2 ways there to manage your diary: full book, half book. Doing that tactic, it might ease the burden when someone phones up. You know, we all get it. You're getting that many calls, you don't know where to put people. If you keep a day free, you've got a day that you can say to people, I can come on that day for you. So it can help relieve some of the stress. One other thing you've really got to manage in silly season definitely is your stress levels. And that's easier said than done. As you get towards the very cold months like December, January, calls flying in left, right and centre, you might have tried that tactic of, you know, separating your weeks up, and all of a sudden you got weeks booked up, you got calls flying in. It can get very stressful. Now you need to be strict with what hours you work. Now if you want to go out there and earn more money, fair play, go out there and earn more money. But if you don't need to earn the extra money and you find yourself working late just to please other people, your stress levels are going to skyrocket. You got to look after yourself before you can look after other people. So try and be strict with the hours that you work. Now, one of the best things I ever did was separate my phones. So I've got my personal phone and I've got my business phone. So I've got 2 separate phones. When I finish for the day, my business phone goes away. That's it, I'm done. I need to have them few hours on the evening just to unwind, ready for the next day. You've got to have some downtime. Now, I've got like my voicemail automated. I'll explain what I mean. So when you phone my voicemail, quick introduction, just so they know they've got Blue Bulldog. Then I'll ask them, preferably send me a text message or WhatsApp with a brief description of what they want. So then I've got it on a text message or WhatsApp who they are, what they want, and I can get back to them, and I already know what I'm doing with them. Now, if people don't leave me messages, I don't get back to them. If I'm that busy and there's no message, I don't get back to them. But if you send me a message, I'll get back to you. That way then, you've already started the ball rolling with the job, and you can go back to it when you want. So you can also automate your WhatsApp messenger as well. So if they send you a WhatsApp, you can automate it in there. So it says something like, thanks for contacting X business. Please send your name, your address, brief description of what you want, any pictures of the fault, and I'll get back to you when you can. Then you might get a message later with the full name, address, leaking tap, send you a picture of the tap, or broken boiler, send you a picture of the boiler. You know then where the job is, what the fault is, and you can get back to them. So it just kind of a little bit automates your business up a little bit. It also weeds people out. I know that sounds bad that I'm saying it weeds people out, but you will get people, if they have a broken boiler, they will phone every gas engineer they can, bam, 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 bam. They will phone them until they answer. Right? They'll just want to get somebody as quick as they can. That's why I set it up like that. Like, if you don't leave me a message or send me a message, I'm not getting back to you. It kind of like weeds them people out. So hopefully that can help you manage your stress levels. Be picky, no coconuts. Bit of a weird thing to say. So I'm going to explain. You can be a lot more pickier this time of year about the work that you do. So what I mean by that is, if you want to start doing more boiler breakdowns and you want to stay away from toilets, stop booking the toilets in and start picking up the boiler breakdowns. You have got to be strict with yourself though, because if someone phones you up and says my toilet's broke, and you think to yourself, I don't want to do that type of work no more, I want to do breakdowns, it's a little bit hard to reject work and say, no, I'm not doing that. It really is. But the busier times is the best time to move on to the work that you want to do. Also, the coconut part, right, let's explain this the best I can. A coconut job is a job that you think to yourself, don't really fancy that, or it sounds like an absolute nightmare. You don't want to be tackling that this time of year. You really don't. There's that much work out there. Why are you messing about with a coconut when you could have something soft like strawberry, that low hanging fruit, and you climbing trees for coconuts? That's what that means. My mate said it to me once and it made sense. No coconuts, go for the low hanging fruit. Go for that easy fruit. You know what I mean? The boiler breakdowns that you want, the boiler swaps that you want. You don't want to be messing about with coconut jobs. So that's more of a summer job. Now me, myself, I can't help but get involved with jobs like that. If someone phones me up and it's a weird and wonderful job, I just want to get my teeth stuck into it. I should know better. I remember one winter, I was digging up garden for some drains. I've booked in bathrooms and stupid stuff like that. Stuff that you shouldn't be doing at that time of year. Obviously, if you're a bathroom fitter, you're going to be doing bathrooms, or if that's your forte, then crack on. Me, I'm not a bathroom fitter. I don't advertise bathrooms. But stupidly enough, I booked a bathroom in for the middle of November. Peak silly season, near enough. It was going manic, and I booked a bathroom in. Absolute coconut. Should have been a summer job. And that week, I was going to work, doing the bathroom, calls coming in left, right, and centre, and I couldn't get to half the people. I could have had a nice day in the van, heater on, bobbing about, doing breakdowns, little jobbying jobs. No, I was stuck on a bathroom. Absolute coconut. So I hope that makes sense. Be picky. Don't go for the tough jobs. It's the right time of year now to do the work that you want to do. Don't be alone. Right, what I mean by that is self-employment can be a very, very lonely place. It can. There's just you, the van, customers in front of you. Christmas party is a bit of a letdown because it's just you, the bar, and a pint. It can feel like you're just on your own. Now, social media is a great place. I've picked up a few mates off social media. One of them being Dan Central Leaking. He's on YouTube as well. Me and him do talk daily now. Now, silly season. If I'm pulling my hair out, chances are Dan's pulling his hair out. So it's good that you've got another gas engineer you can rely back on, talk to. You just know that you're not suffering through it alone. Trust me, if you're having a bad day, everyone else is having a bad day as well. That's what I like about my YouTube channel. I see people comment every week in there. It just feels like a bit of a community. If I make a mistake and I put it out there, people are like, yep, I've done that. You just don't feel as alone. So you don't have to go through it alone. It can be a very lonely place. So try and reach out, make some contacts, stuff like that. You know, we're all in it together. We're all just trying to put food on the table, you know what I mean? So don't go through it alone. Trust me, if you're stressed, pulling your hair out, we've all been there. Now, one of the things that's going to get you through silly season is your van stock. You need to make sure your van is fully stocked and fully prepared. Them parts that you use on the daily, you need to make sure them all on there. You got enough fittings, you got enough consumables, stuff like that. You don't want to be going out there with a full day's work and all of a sudden you're low on stuff in the van. Then it's a trip to the merchants. You're already stressed because you think, oh, I haven't got this. So do a bit of planning around your van stock. Now, one good thing I have seen, which I'm probably going to get myself, is I've seen a few people have one of these, the whiteboard on the back of the van, right? And when they're getting that low on something, like let's just say they need some couplers, they'll just write on there couplers, they need some wire wall, and it's all there. Then when they go to the merchants, they open the back door and they're like, right, I need that. I thought that was a pretty clever idea to get on top of your van stock, because I've done it before. I've gone into the back of the van and thought, that's the last one of them, I better get one of them. Totally forget. I totally forget because my mind's on the job. By the time I come out the job, I've totally forgot. But I think if I had like a little whiteboard on the back of the van, I'll go, right, I need one of them. I'll just grab the pen, write it on there, and that way then I can keep on top of my van stock. Also, this time of year, I like to put in a bulk order on my van stock as well. I know for a fact I'm going to get through quite a few fittings, quite a few consumables, and you can get it cheaper in bulk. So it's a good time of year. Get on top of that van stock, get your van fully loaded out, ready just to play through the jobs. So what happens if you really do get too much work? The phone won't stop ringing. You book 3 weeks in advance. It's just an avalanche of calls coming through. What are you going to do? Well, one thing you can do is put your price up. If you put your price up, it'll stem the tide that's coming in. You'll be working less for the same money. So let's just say you do 6 jobs a day for £100, right? Let's just make it simple maths. I know you're not going to be earning £600 a day, okay? We're just going to do it for simple maths. So you got 6 jobs for £100, right? Let's just say you put your price up to 120, right? You can do 5 jobs then for the same money. You can get in the same money. 6 jobs is £600. 5 jobs at 120. Same money, you're working less. It just stems the tide. What you could do then is still do your 6 jobs. You got your 720. It'll just stem the tide that's coming in. So if you get less work, you know you're going to make your money. If you're still doing the same amount of work, you're getting more money. I know that sounds bad, like you're inflating your prices, but it is supply and demand this time of year. It does just stem the tide that's coming in. You can do less work for the same money, or you can take that extra job on and you can get paid more. Let's face it, in the summer, the demand for gas engineers does go down. So the winter is normally the time that we make our money to get us through the summer. Don't forget, in the summer, there's days where the phone wouldn't ring. This time of year, you're going to be getting a lot of phone calls. So if you want to stem the tide a little bit, you can put your price up. Have I ever done that? No. I've never done that, to be honest with you. The only thing I've ever done is, if I'm working late, my price does go up to a time and a half. If you want to get me out, keep me away from my family, you're going to pay me time and a half. Most of the time, I don't really want to do it, so I don't accept it. But I think, yeah, okay, I'll do it. My time does go up to a time and a half. So I do class that as out of hours. After my working set of hours, I class that as out of hours. So I don't do this tactic. I've heard of people doing it. It might help you just stem that flow a little bit. So I'll let you make your own decision on that. So a quick recap of what we've gone through. Your prices, you want to go through them. Make sure your business is charging enough. Like I said, silly season, start of winter. If you're ever going to put your price up, that's the time to do it. Your time, manage your time. If you want a full book of work, crack on, go ahead, get them booked up. The little tip that I told you about the weeks, you can try that. Hopefully that will help you out a little bit. Your stress, that's the one to keep on top of, your stress levels. Now, I have had a time where it was really getting on top of me. I thought, you know what, I just need a day here just to calm down. And I did. I put a day in the diary and I had it off. Best thing I ever did. I had that day off and it really helped me settle down. Yes, I didn't get paid for that day. Yes, it was the middle of the silly season, but it just helped me reset. And I found then I could carry on and do more work. So I hope that's helped you out. Hope you survived silly season. Now the most important thing you can do is, if you've got a tip or anything like that, is put it down in the comments. It's really going to help people out. People will read through the comments. And if you've got any tips on how to survive silly season, put them down in the comments. If this video has helped you out, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one.